We'll go to the next question. If someone wants to teach, do you let him or her teach?
Would this be in a gathering?
Yeah, this is all in your meetings, so this would have to do in the context of a meeting.
Well, it's kind of funny. We've had times where, acclaimed preachers or teachers have been with us, or men that have been ordained in certain religious groups or whatever that are used to teaching and preaching constantly and being the center of attention. It's been really interesting, I guess is the right word, to see what would happen from time to time when someone would come in, maybe puffed up in themselves, and a very weak or new Christian would ask them a question, and all of a sudden, somehow their note cards don't work anymore, and they're disoriented. It's like things like that historically have happened that have just been amazing to us. As far as teaching goes, if let's say it's a brother that has a life that, like in Acts chapter 6, well known to be full of the Holy Spirit and full of wisdom, or like Timothy, of good report in Lystra and Iconium and Derbe. If there are men that have a record of having proven themselves, and they want to, say, hey, I really have something I want to share, man, people thrill to that. I don't know of anything people love more than, please, let's go for it. It would never be any, oh, well, I don't know, that kind of thing. There might be a time where maybe we're 4 or 5 hours into a gathering, and Paul said to the Corinthian church, 2 or at the most 3 major things perhaps should happen. And so maybe it's like, well, let's do that tomorrow night instead. So there may be times when it's disorderly, or it's on a different subject than what God seems to be doing with us through the evening, or perhaps it's gone past a time where everybody's had plenty to digest and they don't need any more. They have to work out what's already been invested in them. There would be times when the teaching part wouldn't maybe be appropriate. Perhaps if a person had a record of being reckless in their life, they're new Christians, they're not working things out well yet, maybe in their marriage, they're newlyweds, something like that. Perhaps if they said, hey, I'd really like to teach something, maybe, or if they just began to teach something in a meeting, perhaps because we're family and we're not having some sort of stained glass ceremony with the speaker of the hour, somebody might ask them a question in the middle of that make them reflect on their own life and the things how that relates to them. Like, hey Tim, does that, the thing that you just said, isn't that the same problem you had last night that we were talking about with your wife? Oh yeah, that's right. See, because it's a family, there's no stained glass ceremony and all the kind of game playing. You can work stuff like that out, even with hundreds of people there. Those things can be worked out where everyone is built up. There's edification for the body, as it also says in 1 Corinthians 14, in that kind of situation. So if anyone has teaching, instruction, revelation, whatever those things happen to be, there's always that possibility that they could bring it. And that's the mark of a church that's really a church, is there's always that possibility that if God's given me something or you something or anyone something, there's always that opening where it could happen. I may choose not to. It may not fit with what's actually happening. But no one is ruled out from being able to express their heart. And then perhaps by doing so, there might be teaching in response to that, or correction. There might be encouragement. There might be enlargement or amplification by someone else. But the priesthood of believers, there always has to be that open door where anyone could actually bring a word of instruction.